Alright, so we are here in the passenger kick panel. We're gonna go and grab our wire so we can attach it. The first thing you want to do is locate the harness. It's coming from the booth of the door to the inside of the car. Sometimes it's two harnesses, so you gotta check which one is from the door. So I find the wires. I don't know if you can see them. It's right here. Yes, and this ones. We're gonna go and attach the wires we're gonna run from the amp to here. We have our two wire over here. Let's go and cap the other wires. And also now I'm here, I actually make the hole for the power wire. It's a factory grommet. The top. Right, so that's a factory grommet right there. And that's where we wanna go for the power wire. So we have our wires. All right.
To power the speakers, we're running 4 new 16 gauge wires. We're running 2 for each tweeter. That's easy because you just run 2 new wires up, no big deal. The 2 for these guys here, that's a little harder because Ford uses a Molex to plug this door into the frame. If you want to go through that, you gotta like drill holes or yeah, we don't want to mess with that. This is a brand new truck. So what we're doing is we're running our wires up into the kick panel. That's not that much easier. It's a little easier, but like on the passenger side, Fernando had to remove the fuse box. And on this side, you have to remove the emergency brake. The wires that we want are these up here. We've already shrink wrapped and put connectors on them, but you have to remove this guy. This is an emergency brake because they're actually sitting up behind here. So there's 3 10mm bolts that hold this in place. You can get to your wires and then you can assemble this back up. Ideally, we'd love to run through the boot into the car, but I'm not willing to destroy the boot and have that be an issue that comes back and haunts me later. So this is the best that we can come up with as an alternative. Then we are going to go ahead and pull apart both sides of the car. Down this side is going to be the signal side. Down the passenger side is going to be the power side. Alright, so we have all the signal wire run through the floorboard on both sides. What we have left is the speed wire that we're going to be using for our signal. So what we're going to do now is cut this back and solder on that end that's going to plug into the factory radio harness. So we have the high level output of the radio plugged in and ran. All we're going to do is add a few more zip ties. The only thing we have left to do over here is tap the speaker wires and hook up the bass knob. So we're going to continue on doing that. So anytime you take one of these bass knobs apart like this, what we like to do is put some heat shrink around it so that it's not just an exposed circuit board. It looks a little bit nicer. Now as far as where the bass knob is going to go, we've put them in here before. We're going to go ahead and put it right behind the steering wheel. It goes really nice spot right here. And it'll just sit right inside this, drill a hole.
So we have the tweeter mount and ready. We're not gonna use the factory plug because we're gonna go and run wires from the amp to the tweeter. So we're gonna zip tie the factory plug in here, and this is our new wire.
So these are dual 2 ohm speakers. We want them to be 4 ohm, which will give us a 2 ohm at the amplifier. So what we're doing is we're taking and using 12 gauge to make some jumpers on each one. We're gonna go from the left positive to the right negative. Do that on this one as well. Now once we've done that, each one of these will be a 4 ohm driver. Now what we want to do, go ahead and solder some wires onto the speaker cups. So now when we connect at the amplifier, we're going to have a 2 ohm mono load. So at this point, everything is in. The subs are in, the fuse holder's done, all the speakers. It's like, yay! Don't get too excited. Let's take a look at the fuse holder. Mounted, it's secured. He was just putting some of the 3M strip caulk around the hole so that it stays nice and dry. Funny thing is there was actually a hole in the firewall over here from the hood release. It pulled out. You saw that? No, it was weird. So I had to fix it and put it all back in. Guessing he's been driving around with a hole. That's always good in Florida, to drive around with tons of water from the sky getting into your car. At this point, you're excited because it's like, yes, it's done. But it's not. You have to fight the urge, because what you need to do at this point is set up the EQ, set up the gain, set up all that stuff before you even listen to it. So now what we're gonna do is go through. I mean, I know we set it up on the bench to make sure everything was where we wanted it. We have to make sure that's still there. We wanna look at the EQ. We wanna play it through this system instead of our little Bluetooth speaker. So we're almost there. Ugh, it's frustrating. So we have a general idea of what we want this to look like. Everything seems to be set up the way it needs to coming out of the processor. So now we're gonna go ahead and plug the RCA's back in because we had unplugged those. And we're going to take a general listen before we start setting up the gains and whatnot on the Alpine. Now you can have all the coolest tech in the world that you want, but at the end of the day you still have to listen to each speaker individually, as we've said before, just to hear how they sound. So like we're playing just the mid bass, we're playing just the tweeter. Right now Fernando's going, he's polarity checking all the speakers because we hadn't done that yet. I was more concentrating on getting the crossover points set up. Now we're going to take the laptop up front because we just want to tweak it just a little bit, and it's easier to do it from up front. Go ahead, shut that door. That's weird that they're both the same. Anything you can think of? You want to hear anything? You want to play any of your stuff? You sure? You want to play Buble and sit over here? No. You sure? That's good. All right. Wow. Okay, guys. We have the time delay set up. It's real easy in this. You know, as far as setting up the time delay in this, as you saw, just measure from ear to ear. Believe it or not, in this F150 where I'm sitting here in this spot, it's almost the same distance between the mid bass and the tweeter, the way they have them pushed all the way to the corners of the dash. We dialed in for the subwoofer. It sounds amazing. These X-type speakers are definitely awesome. There's no question about it. Really happy with the performance that we're getting out of these. It's just the tweeters, the mid bass, and nothing, just subs. Well, let's go to the back real quick. So on the LGDs, these cool guys right here, the cool powder blue LGDs, when you're installing these, they need to be ventilated. They are going to get hot, so make sure that they're in some place where it can breathe. This is the cable. I haven't taken it out yet. So right now we have them stuck here to this piece of metal. They're in their own little area. They'll be able to breathe. They're gonna get hot. That's what they do. I mean, at the end of the day, they're emulating a speaker on the radio, so magnets get hot, believe it or not. These are gonna get hot, so don't bury these, don't hide these. Give them some place where they can breathe. All right, this was definitely a fun one. Did you have a good time?
Oh yeah.
Oh, it sounds incredible. I'm definitely pleased with the performance. Yay, we're done.
All right, on to the next one.
And you guys have a great night as always, and we'll see you later next time. Bye.